Good afternoon and welcome. I'm Dan Taylor, Audioprosthologist and owner of Mission Hearing and A Advanced Hearing Care, and we're located at 720 East New Haven Avenue in the heart of historic old downtown Melbourne, Florida. And I'm down in the lab today to talk about something that I'm asked quite often by consumers when they call in. And that's, what does it take to make a good hearing aid fitting? And it's really quite simple, and I've got it up here on the screen, and the keys, the three simple keys to a great hearing aid fitting, or keeping it simple without compromising quality, involve really just three things. And I'm going to go over them here this afternoon with you, so kind of demystify the whole process. The first and most important key to a good fitting is audibility. Now, audibility means that the sounds we're presenting through your hearing aids or your hearing gear have to all be louder or greater than the loss we're correcting for. In other words, if you can't hear the sound that's below your hearing threshold, the sound just won't be there for you to process. And if it's not there to process, if it doesn't reach your brain, you can't reach what we call audition, which is your brain turning those nerve impulses into meaningful words, symbols, music, or whatever you're listening to. So the very first thing in a good hearing aid fitting of any kind is audibility. All the sounds have to be loud enough at first where you can hear them. They've got to be over the level of your hearing loss, even if it's just a little bit. Now the second thing, and it's really pretty simple, the second thing is comfort. Now that comes in two parts. The instruments or the equipment must be physically comfortable in that you've got to be able to wear it 16 to 18 hours a day without it rubbing your ears sore or giving you a headache or anything like that. Because if it's not physically comfortable, you won't wear it, and you'll set yourself up for that shrinking brain syndrome. And we'll get to that in another segment. But the second part of the comfort thing is that not only does the instrument or do the instruments have to be comfortable physically, they have to be comfortable audibly. By that I mean that none of the sounds we're presenting can ever exceed your comfort level, or they can't be too loud for you. And it's an amazing thing, because just because you lose sensitivity to soft sounds does not mean that you get extra headroom on the other end. It just doesn't work that way. In fact, those of us with noise-induced hearing loss, many times we actually have a decrease in the amount of sound necessary before it gets uncomfortable for us. And some people, the difference is so narrow between when they first hear the sound or their audible level and where it gets uncomfortable that they develop what we call recruitment in the industry. Now, recruitment is something that's hard to deal with, because what happens is just a small increase in the actual sound pressure level generates the sensation of a real loud or real high growth in loudness. So you can bump it up just 2 or 3 decibels, and holy smokes, it's really loud for somebody that has recruitment when they get close to their uncomfortable level. So we have to make that fitting comfortable in two ways. It's got to be physically comfortable, and it's got to be audibly comfortable. Now, audibly comfortable means it never gets too loud. Now, the third thing is actually where things get a little bit more. Key number three, improve the signal to noise ratio. Now, the signal is really anything that you want to hear at the time you want to hear it. And the noise is anything you really don't want to hear. It's just that simple. And you can see how in a social environment that could change pretty quickly as you go from one person talking to another person talking to another person talking. And the hearing aids, the best ones out there, will help you in even the most complex sound environment to pick out that voice that you want to listen to. So the third key to a good hearing aid fitting is improving that signal to noise ratio. And here's another little thing about signal and noise. Those of us with normal hearing can actually pick the signal out of the background even when the signal's 3 to 5 decibels below the noise level. Now, when we begin to get a hearing loss, especially a high frequency hearing loss, that switches around. And those of us with a hearing loss, we actually need 3 to 5 to even 7 decibels above the background before we can get the signal over the noise. And when we get in a group or something, like if I go across the street to Matt's Casbah and it's busy over there, I get real dumb real quick without my hearing aids because I just can't pick the signal I want to hear out of the background sound that's normally going on in a busy restaurant. Lots of folks are like that, and there's some really great gear out there that addresses that in a fantastic way now. In fact, the Siemens Rexton Emeralds that I'm wearing, they're phenomenal. They let me go in just about any sound environment, and I can carry on a conversation just like I didn't have a hearing loss. In fact, some of this gear that they're making is so good that it actually gives you better hearing than normal when you get a noise if you get the right setup with it. So the 3 things, once again, we're going to go through them. We go back to the beginning here. The 3 simple keys to a great hearing aid fitting are really quite simple. Number 1 is audibility. All the sound's got to be above your hearing loss or you can't hear it. If the signal doesn't get sent to the brain can't make sense out of it. So all the sounds have to be above your hearing loss. That's number 1. Number 2, comfort in 2 parts. It's got to be physically comfortable, and it's also got to be audibly comfortable. None of the sounds presented can ever reach your uncomfortable level, or you just won't wear the gear. It'll aggravate you and be in a drawer somewhere. And the third and last thing, the thing that's the hardest to do, and the thing that takes up a great deal of the signal processing power in today's hearing aids, is improving that signal to noise ratio and preferably picking the speech out that you want to hear when you want to hear it. So there you have it. Those are the 3 simple things. I'm often asked, what makes a good hearing aid fitting? That's it, folks. 3 simple things: audibility, comfort, and improved signal to noise ratio. So thank you for stopping by, and may all of you be blessed to overflowing with an abundance of hope, health, healing, happiness, peace, prosperity, and love. Thanks for coming by, and God bless you. More complex.